My name is Debbie Duran, and I'm going to speak to you today on the topic of linguistics. Now, the study of linguistics has a wide range of topics, but I'm going to talk specifically about ASL linguistics. First, I'd like to share with you a little bit of history connected with our topic about how the study of linguistics in ASL had its beginnings. There was a man named William Stokoe. He himself was a linguist and a hearing man, and he worked for Gallaudet University. He observed deaf individuals communicating frequently and reasoned from this observation that this American Sign Language was not simply hand-waving in the air, but was governed by linguistical components. He started researching this development using his own translation. That means he developed a system of symbols that had special designations. He took down each signed components and turned them into written notation. This was a system he developed himself. Each symbol has its own designation, and he would use this system to observe and categorize ASL in action. He would write down each component of a sign and analyze this data around the clock. What he found from his compiled data was that ASL, or American Sign Language, had linguistically controlled grammatical rules. ASL had its own syntax and rules that govern expression and many other linguistical components. Now, the deaf community in the United States, for the most part, uses ASL to communicate. But what about other continents and countries and their deaf communities? Each country actually has its own native signing system. Stokoe, however, only analyzed the ASL used in the United States. Now, years prior to Stokoe's research, there was a deaf boy named Laurent Clerc. He arrived in the United States from France. Now, growing up, he had learned the sign language commonly used in his location. When he came to America, he couldn't understand the deaf Americans. To him, it just looked like waving hands in the air. He didn't see that there was any structure to this language. He quickly saw that the Americans needed a sign language system with the components of language to become empowered individuals. They needed a language that would link them to a cultural deaf identity. This would give them deaf American pride in their identity. Clerc truly helped ASL become a full language. This is a very important part of history. Now, some people assume that ASL is a worldwide language and the same on different continents. So that is an important story to know that different continents have different signing systems. Now let's go back to our topic of linguistics. Some of the components of linguistics are morphology, phonology, syntax or sentence structure, semantics or meaning, and pragmatics, the study of language interaction with context. Some contexts could be two deaf individuals communicating, or a deaf individual or a hearing individual communicating. So those are our 5 linguistical components.